Over the years, Mortal Kombat has featured awesome and hilarious guest characters, and here is a look at everyone we've seen so far. When it comes to Mortal Kombat, the DLC characters are always exciting. The announcements themselves might incentivize you to purchase the Season Pass or a collector's edition. Of course, many classic Mortal Kombat characters like Rain or Tribble are included with DLC, but sometimes a visitor from another universe shows up for a taste of combat. The most debated and discussed DLC characters are the guests, fighters from other series outside of Mortal Kombat that make it onto the roster. Over the years, Mortal Kombat has seen pop culture icons from classic action and horror movies appear as playable characters, but not all of them are as strong as the others. As of July 7th of this year, guest characters in Mortal Kombat continue to be one of the series' most compelling aspects, and trying to guess who will show up can be exciting. While the last guest fighters were added to Mortal Kombat 11 in 2020, we've decided to tidy up this list while we eagerly wait to find out who the next Mortal Kombat guest character will be. We will rank every guest Mortal Kombat character and express my opinion. On the number 12, we have Carl Weathers. When Predator dropped for Mortal Kombat X, a new skin was also given to Jax. This skin not only had the liveness but also that voice of a celebrity, Carl Weathers, based on Dion from Predator. While there's nothing wrong with the skin itself, that's all it is. The use of Carl Weathers is a great touch, but he's given no unique voice lines. Instead, Carl just does his take on Jax's pre-existing dialogue. He barely counts as a guest character in Mortal Kombat, but because Carl Weathers does the best with what he's given, he earns a spot on the list. On the number 11 we have John Rambo. Absolutely nobody was expecting this reveal for Mortal Kombat 11's Kombat Part 2. Not only was it the classic character of John Rambo, but Sylvester Stallone also voiced him in the game. As a result, everyone was excited for him when he launched alongside Rain and Milene. Sadly, Rambo is the weakest of the guest characters. Sure, the plethora of references to Stallone's entire filmography is nice, but gameplay-wise, he's a bit of a mess. Most of his specials take too long to start up without any good payoff. Rambo's combos are very similar to Nightwolf and Kano, but not nearly as good. On top of that, his finishes and customization are rather bland. He's a fun character to play as, but you won't win many competitive matches as Rambo. On the number 10 we have Kratos. Kratos was a PlayStation 3 exclusive character for Mortal Kombat 9. You would think such a brutal and vicious character would be ripe for Mortal Kombat, but Kratos suffers from the same flaws as Rambo. His moves take way too long to prepare, and if you miss, you become extremely vulnerable to attacks that can easily knock him out if you're not paying attention. Unlike Rambo, however, Kratos does have some rewarding moves that can make him deadly if you know how to use them. Also, his moves has more creative uses of weapons and abilities from the God of War series. As one of the few video game characters to cross over with Mortal Kombat, it's upsetting that Kratos couldn't hold his own against other characters like Scorpion or Sub-Zero. Moving on to number 9 we have Leatherface. In Mortal Kombat X, each character is given 3 variations. Typically, there are pros and cons to each of them, but with Leatherface, 2 are not so great, and 1 is a bit overpowered. The Butcher variation of Leatherface gives him many more combos and abilities that make him great to play against friends on the couch or strangers online. The Easter eggs and nods towards the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies are appreciated, especially with his different outfits and variations. If you like keeping your distance from your foe while battling them, nothing creates space as well as a chainsaw. There is nothing really all that bad about Leatherface, but it would have been preferred if the other 2 variations were at least decent. Moving on to number 8, we have Freddy Krueger. Introduced as a DLC character for Mortal Kombat 9, Freddy is a solid fighter all around. His combos are fast and deadly, with some decent melee range. His specials can get the opponent from all close or far distances, and he has easily some of the deadliest combo strings in Mortal Kombat 9. As one of the first horror icons to appear in Mortal Kombat, Freddy set a high bar. Freddy can be a little overpowered at times, though. Also, while it made sense they were trying to promote Jackie O'Haley's Freddy at the time, it was strange that he was not given a Robert Englund, the original actor behind the character, skin. Freddy is also given 0 dialogue which goes completely against his nature. On to number 7 we have Predator. The amount of detail put into the Predator is impressive. The different skulls he takes as trophies, his mimicry, and the variety of weapons all show a lot of care went into designing his character. However, as cool as he is, his combat itself in all 3 variations never goes anywhere above decent and leaves Predator somewhere in the middle of most tier lists. There is nothing that kills any variation, but none of them have as much impact as others. They all feel very similar to play with the pros and cons feeling more tacked on than natural. Once again, Predator lacks any skins, which are criminal since there are a plethora of Predator looks across the movies that could have shined in Mortal Kombat the 10th, and on to number 6, we have the Terminator. At first, Terminator seems far too slow, which is accurate to how the character is supposed to be. However, Terminator is a tricky fighter that can be deceptive to unfamiliar opponents. If Terminator traps the opponent in a corner, he can initiate a combo string that can deplete their health in moments. Terminator's damage output is downright criminal. Sure, the plethora of references to Stallone's entire filmography is nice, but gameplay-wise, he's a bit of a mess. Most of his specials take too long to start up without any good payoff. Rambo's combos are very similar to Nightwolf and Kano, but not nearly as good. On top of that, his finishes and customization are rather bland. He's a fun character to play as, but you won't win many competitive matches as Rambo. Moving on to the number 5, we have Gotham City's criminal the Joker. Despite being already approved by NetherRealm in games like Injustice, many were excited to see how Joker would play in the M-rated Mortal Kombat series. Suffice it to say, this was NetherRealm's best iteration of the character yet. Richard Epcar, who also plays Raiden, plays the character perfectly and rivals Mark Hamill's performance from the Arkham games. Gameplay-wise, the Joker is an absolute monster, with all his moves having phenomenal speed and range. His crushing blows are rather easy to master, so opponents' health can be taken down quickly. The only disappointment is that many of the Joker's customization options are either over-designed or too bland. Number 4, we have Spawn. Finally, after years of fans requesting Spawn since Injustice, Gods Among Us, he made it to Mortal Kombat 11. His combat is rich but hard to master. However, if one does take the time to learn it, Spawn can be a nightmare to fight online since he can hit the opponent from any range. The gear and skins are all top-notch, the special moves are straight out of the comics, and best of all, his voice. Keith David returns as Spawn, and like always, he is perfect. He is to Spawn like Kevin Conroy is to Batman. All the years of waiting certainly paid off, making Spawn a great DLC character in every aspect. Number 3, we have a silent horror film villain named Jason Voorhees. Everyone's favorite slasher villain joined the fray in Mortal Kombat X, and he is nearly perfect. All 3 variations have more pros than cons, with unique abilities that help them stand out. Though Jason has never been this agile in the films, his combat still fits his slasher style. The best Jason to play as is definitely the slasher variation, which gives him way more combos that can make him a real challenge online. However, the unstoppable variation comes a close second. What keeps Jason from being higher is, sadly, the lack of skins available for him. Jason has also had many looks, and his design hardly changes between the different variations. Number 2, we have RoboCop as the second guest Mortal Kombat character ever yet. This one had everyone worried. It's RoboCop, a slow-moving cyborg. How is he supposed to fight someone fast like Johnny Cage or hold his own against superpowered characters like Raiden? Well, RoboCop is as slow as expected, but his zoning keeps any fast characters at bay and doesn't hinder him as much as you would think. Not only is RoboCop great at keeping his distance, he also has some deadly combo strings which can connect to some abilities and give a lot of damage output. RoboCop requires a lot of methodic and strategic gameplay, but that keeps him from being too overpowered. On top of that, he's voiced by Peter Weller himself, who fits back into the role like a glove. And lastly, we have the number 1 ladies and gentlemen, and which was Alien. While Alien doesn't have any incredible skins, the 3 variations change up their design enough to be effective. Speaking of those variations, they are much like Jason's. All unique, with great abilities to fit different playstyles. There is something for everybody, and all 3 are fun to use. For brawlers, there is the Tarkanian variation that utilizes blades and tail combos. For fans of summoner and trap characters like Kudwam Kai, there is Conjurer that gives the ability to summon X and other xenomorphs. Finally, there is Acidic, which focuses on keep away and mid-range combat. As a bonus, fans of the Alien franchise will enjoy the many iconic moves, references, and sound effects that surround the character. Well, I think we'll wrap those things up for today, and thanks for watching from those of you who have secretly played the guest characters from the Mortal Kombat franchise, and we'll see you all after my wait is over.